All right, we're talking about the stress of breadwinning, making money, having to pay the bills, and the added stress of family responsibility, the taking care of the kids. Doing all of this work creates imbalance, unbalance, and it's a source of our mental illness, our physical ailments and pains and aches. And it actually interferes with our relationships. So, this concept of being the breadwinner is an important one to look at for both men and women. And most families are double income breadwinners and still struggling to keep it all together. And if you've been in an experience where you've had to be the breadwinner to take care of somebody else, that adds extra stress as well. So today, welcome. You're on Receptive Radio. This is for coaches, healers, consultants, conscious entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs, visionaries and bridge builders to the new world. This show is for you, helping you to tune into your potential so you can realize your purpose and power and create prosperity doing what you love. And I'm Jennifer Seifert, shamanic teacher, mentor, healer, and soul guide. So back to breadwinning. Why is it so important to actually pay attention to this? Because when there's a stress on you to make so much money because you have all of these responsibilities to take care of, like paying the bills, the credit card, the loans, the debts, the mortgages, buying the groceries, paying for the kids' events, and then maybe you have some money left over to have some fun, that causes so much mental and emotional and physical stress that we don't even think about having a spiritual relationship with ourselves. How can we? Because we're so focused on stress every day. And this out of balance is not only just out of balance, body, mind, health, and spirit, it's out of balance between the masculine part of yourself and the feminine part of yourself. And it causes problems. Like, I'm going to give some stories and examples, but I was in a profession of CPA, being an accountant, which was very focused, very directional. Deadlines drove my life. So there's a constant stress of getting things done on time, and it repeated every month because every month there was a deadline. And in the middle of the month, in the beginning of the month, in the end of the month, there was always a deadline every week. And having to manage staff to encourage them to get the deadlines done so that you didn't have to pick up all the slack. But at the same time, the people, that is a very masculine orientated thing. So like focus, keeping direction is very much a masculine energy. And so for me to be consistently in that energy for 8 to 10 or 12 hours a day, 5 to 7 days a week, throws off my spiritual side, which is more feminine and creative and expressive. And, that constant focus on responsibility, being responsible to take care of everybody else's stuff and the deadlines, and then to be responsible to earn the money you need to take care of your bills and everything. It is a burden. It is very heavy to carry. And I get it. And I get why you are feeling worn out, tired, stressed out, and there's no end in sight, it feels like sometimes. And then we're constantly in this Monday to Friday cycle where we're going into the weekend, either totally exhausted and exhausting ourselves more by, drinking and all that kind of stuff. Like, we don't know how to rest and relax because we're so stressed out in our nervous system all the time. So why is this important? It's so important because there's out of balance, and we just need to become more aware of that we're out of balance. And in order to become in balance, we need to pay attention to the masculine side within ourselves and the feminine side in ourselves. And there's this rise of the feminine right now, rise of the feminine and hearing us and all that kind of stuff. Well, I don't want to rise into being like stressed out in the feminine. I don't want to be stressed out trying to push my creative expression into the world and then being the breadwinner as the feminine as well. Like that, it's very confusing. It's very confusing. It's even hard to discuss. Would you agree? Put your hand up in the comments. It's very hard to discuss. It's a very touchy matter, the balance of the masculine and the feminine energy. Now, I'm going to tell you a story. You know, when I was younger, I felt like I was responsible all the time. I was an extremely responsible kid, and I was worried about my parents a lot, worried about them making money. And then I grew up, you know, worried about getting good grades so that I could make money later and that kind of thing. And then I ended up getting into a relationship with somebody, one of my first relationships, where, you know, they were more the slacker, more irresponsible. Because I had all of this masculine, responsible energy in me, I attracted the opposite in a guy who was more of a relaxed, creative, expressive type who didn't want to work. And then I ended up marrying this guy, moving from Calgary to Vancouver when I was 21 years old. This month, yeah, it was in August that I got married. And we got our first place, and like I got a job right away as a waitress. He wasn't making any efforts to find a job, and you know, we had some money in the bank because we just moved and we got married. And one day I came home from the office, or from my waitressing job at Foggin-Suds at Broadway and Canby. And there was a letter for me. And this letter felt very ominous, and it had a lot of responsibility in it. When I picked it up, the weight of that letter was extremely heavy. And as I started reading it, I felt like a thunk on my shoulders. And that letter said that he had no intention of getting a job, and that it was my responsibility to figure it out. He had no intention. And I was just like, what the, you know, huh? At 21 years old, getting that responsibility dropped on my shoulders, that it's my problem to pay the rent, to feed us, to work, and all of that kind of thing. Well, I had a flip out. I was not going to put up with that. And, you know, I should have just got in my car and drove back to Calgary and annulled the marriage, but I didn't. For some reason, I stayed in the marriage, and it went into him telling me, okay, I'll get a job. But then every couple of weeks, he'd quit that job. And the pattern of him not working and me being responsible for everything was just like piling on top of each other, piling on top of each other, piling on top of each other. So at 21 years old, I'm a breadwinner as a waitress. And lo and behold, you know, I made the most money I'd ever made in my life, and I was able to keep it all together. And then that pattern stuck inside of me. And so when I did finally get out of that relationship, the next relationship, I was still the responsible one, taking on all of the money issues and making sure everything is paid. And then after that relationship, again, and it happened multiple times. So this masculine energy inside of me was out of balance. This responsibility, that I need to hold it all together for the whole family, to take care of everything, was out of balance. And I know that there's other people in this community and then in the world that have this out of balance going on inside of them. The struggle between, I need to hold it all together, but I'm also stressed right out. And it's something that we need to bring up and talk about more, because it does cause mental illness. It does cause physical pain and cancer and all kinds of ailments and physical problems. And it keeps us away from our spiritual side. It keeps us away from feeling into ourselves, from going inside and looking inside. And it causes us to blame everybody else for our problems, because we got to take care of everything. And so I want to give a healing for this, because it's very important. And we're in a very powerful time. Not just today, not just this month. We're in a powerful time of our lives where we can make significant changes. But that's a lot of responsibility. That's a lot of responsibility for us to save the world. And how I understand is, like, we need to take care of ourselves. We need to save ourselves, and then we can save the world. Just imagine where everybody's taking care of themselves and the world just gets saved automatically. So I want to offer a drumming healing song to really restore the balance between the masculine and feminine inside of you, inside of myself, and inside of anyone who listens to this podcast in the future. So if you're watching live, thank you for being here. And you'll have this recording for infinity, as long as it's inside the online. So close your eyes, relax, open to receiving. You don't need to do anything. Just go into your heart space. Notice yourself inside your body. Connect your feet with the ground. Sit in your chair. Relax. This is for you. Ayudando Pachamama, venga, venga, Pachatata, soporte a cada uno, energía balanceando, todo energía, limpiando todo lucha, ayudando medicina por venga, venga, abra, abra, abra medicina poderoso, balanceando a todo cuerpo, balanceando energía, todo cuerpo, energía, balanceando a corazones, sana, sana, sentimientos, medicina poderosa, muchas gracias. Venga, venga, Pachamama, ayudando a Pachatata, balanceando a femenina, balanceando a masculinity, soporte a transformando. Abracita todo corazón, enter, enter, más amore, balance, ayudando, espíritu grande medicina, entra penetrando bueno medico. Ayudando a Pachamama, venga, venga, Pachatata, soporte hey, todo mentecito, balanzando derechito, soporte hey, enter claritia, soporte hey, regulate medicina pororo abracita, medicina pororo, muchas gracias. Enter espíritu, bendiciones cada uno, bendiciones cada uno, ayudando Pachamamita. Balanzando todo Pachatata, balanzando masculinity, balanzando todo femininity. Nine, 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 nine. Just blow that song into. And that's just a sample of the kind of healing work I do. And we need unconventional methods to bring the masculine and the feminine back into balance within ourselves and within the world. And if you're feeling the pain of being the breadwinner, having so much responsibility at home and at work and in your family life, I want to offer you an opportunity to transform that. And so I've created a group healing community where there's once a month a healing ceremony where you can come and receive healing medicine like that drum for 30 minutes. And every month I have a new theme. And this Monday, the theme is blue moon. So on Monday is the full moon, and it's actually a blue moon. So it's the 13th moon of the year, which is a rare lunar eclipse or event. It's not an eclipse. And the moon is powerful to help us with our emotional body, and balancing the feminine and the masculine, and supporting all of the responsibilities that we have, and taking an opportunity to receive extra support from the universe, from the earth, the sun, the moon, the stars, invisible support that you don't normally get in everyday reality. So I invite you to join this healing community. The first healing is free, the first month's free, and then it's $20 a month afterwards. And I've experienced great support and community. And it's an opportunity for you to transform in things that are bothering you without having to figure it out. So I'd love to see you there. I'm going to put the link in the chat for the group healing community, the event on Monday, Blue Moon Healing Ceremony. And thank you for allowing me to share, and please enjoy this song as many times as you want. Have a good day. You're watching Receptive Radio.